One thing leads to another. Oh yeah, I can't sing, but I remember all these songs and I put the words in applicable situations that seem to fit. And it's weird that the 80s sort of spoke the future. They were trying to tell us something. Kind of wondered what Devo was up to the whole time until now. It's bad you have to wait this long to see what the heck they were talking about. So, anyways, the psyops are strong, guys. The psyops are strong. You know, we've got issues trying to get Jim Jordan in, which I figured that. I said that a while back. I didn't understand. I mean, let's just kind of get to an understanding of what we don't understand. Is that understandable? Like, okay, so trust me, I understand the whole thing about Kevin McCarthy. We needed that, something had to happen, and Matt Gaetz was quoted saying, "Hey, so it looks like everything's going downhill like a snowball headed for hell, but it's just moving at a weirdly slow pace, which allows the other side to make really nice and like really intricate calculations to do what they're doing, to lull the public, and how they can make people accept this tyranny that's coming in, and it's obvious. And there's several ways they're doing that, but that's a whole other video altogether. So Matt Gaetz said, you know, what we're going to do is we're going to rip the Band-Aid off, and we're going to see how quick, you know, if it can go a better way, it will, but it's probably not, and it needs to happen really fast because it makes the left sort of step on rakes. That's the terminology that we use over here. Now, the thing about it is, that's where Hakeem Jeffries comes in, or something of that matter, or somebody that's controlled by, which Hakeem would be controlled by somebody as well. And that's the whole thing that we would run into with Jim Jordan. If Jim Jordan does happen to make it in there as House Speaker, then, which I would love. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this would be a bad thing, but it would be an interesting thing to see how it played out, because we do understand that there's a really huge hold on our government through our Federal Reserve and the people behind all that. Now, fast forward up to now, and if he gets in, then he would have to, you know, people would expect a lot. They would expect, you know, something to happen, and he would have to not be able to do it because it would be his life and his family and his everything that would be on the line there. So I'm pretty sure that it would, there's a good reason why Steve Scalise said, I've done been shot at once. Done with that. I want to get shot at again, you know, by Jeffrey Hutchinson, Scott Hutchinson, or something like that. Hutchinson, I can't remember the guy's name now. I'm some fart brain. That's the guy who shot Steve Scalise during a Democratic baseball practice. They were going to have a, you know, they had this every baseball thing every year. Both sides get together to play a baseball game, and then they had a Democrat, which I probably talked about this before, which I did, but a Democrat's aide, Scott Hutchinson, if that's the name right, was the one that on January 14th, which was Trump's birthday, Flag Day, or was it July 14th? Well, anyway, January, July. Sorry, the details leave me because I've got so much that runs through my brain. But now I'm boring you to death. I'm sorry to do that. I'm just trying to reminisce a little bit about what's going on where we're at. Now, fast forward to Congress people with Jim. I know we're talking about Jim Jordan. Okay, so back on track. I get sideways sometimes, but there's a reason for this, because this just in. This is one of 100's hottest women, guys. Here you go.
People, you know, I was in the 1.8% of transgender people who hid it from the world. Be vulnerable. Find some people who you can trust, who you can talk to, and they'll support you. And invariably, everything will be okay.
I told my truth, which was, you know, to help Dad out and tell her story the best way that I could.
Okay, where are we at here? Oh, here we go. This chick here, or this woman? She's a woman. Okay, she's old. Sorry, not old. She might be about 55. We'll call her old. I'm 42, so why am I even saying that for? So one day we'll realize I'm old too, or getting there. Or I'm headed that way. Headed down the hill like snowball headed for a rail. I wish a Ford and a Chevy still last 10 years like they should. That's not even in the article, but I wish they did. Representative Republican Miller Meeks claims she received credible death threats and a barrage of threatening calls following her vote against Jim Jordan. Because, so what happened is, in her claims, because what was going on behind the scenes, there was a bullying tactic by the Republican Party to try to get people to vote in Jim Jordan. And she decided that she didn't want to be bullied. Maybe. I don't know this woman. I don't know anything about her voting history prior to that, so far as Republican consistency. I'd have to do a lot of research into this, but let's just look at it like this right here. There's a lot of lobbyists behind the scenes. There are a lot of psychological operations going on. And I'm going to tell you something right now, and you're probably going to think I'm sort of crazy for thinking like this, but that building that they're in has been there for hundreds of years now. You know, they go in there, and they've been working in there for a long, long, long time. Now, we know that the CIA and deep state operatives have a lot of different methods of I would have to say, computer technology. Imagine there'd be devices in that place that produces sound waves and energy fields that can kind of like move people. Not maybe, I don't know, mind control. Is mind control too far to go? I mean, I know that's a left field, way in the left weeds of a talk, but that building could be completely set up with all kind of CIA components that can monitor brain waves, that can listen to people's thoughts, that can project people's thoughts, and you know, behind the scenes you've got people collecting data on all their different thoughts and putting it together and calculating it. Does that sound way off? I mean, really, like, they've been meeting in this building for a long time. Crazy stuff goes on in that building. Crazy tactics, crazy mindsets, really crazy people. And you know, a lot of times they're not like that when they first get in there. Now, I know that the money gets to them and all that fancy stuff, but what if there was an added bonus of some kind of technology in there that could create people to do things to do that? I mean, I know that's really sounds far-fetched, but if you've been down some of the rabbit holes I've been down so far as technology, like you could walk into a room and there was detectors that could listen to brainwaves and actually piece together thoughts and put together an image of that. Now it's probably a lot better than that because that was 20 years ago. So, anyways, she's receiving death threat. I know they're way off left field, but what I'm getting at is, like, there are so many things going on that it just makes me wonder where this is all going to end. Because we're trying real hard, and it's pretty obvious what people want. Even Victoria's Secret sales went down to nothing. They tried to go woke, and this wasn't even a real hard boycott. Nobody even got on board with this. Nobody said boycott Victoria's Secrets. We just said, ooh, this is kind of weird, and we stepped on and moved on. We didn't say anything about boycotting anything like that. And then people just moved in that direction because that's just the gain of function of people. There we go, Fauci. But anyhow, getting Jordan in there is definitely going to be a mess because there's just, I would be surprised. I don't want to give people false hope and say this will happen. I support him 100%. I support all these criminals being looked into and arrested and dealt with properly. And also, I support a lot of other things that I want to show you. There was, I'm going to go up here. Just bear with me for a second. Dude, so where's it at here? I support this if this is the case. I support this right here. I don't know if this is real, but a judge orders a public hearing on November 9th for legality of COVID somethings. And a judge finally ordered oral hearings and ex officio her own due to a importance of Nuremberg Code violations and a CR former VP Pfizer and expert witnesses. So this is, I don't know. It's supposed to, but hey, I'm on board if this is the case. I'm not going to claim it to be this is what they're going to do and things are going to happen. I don't know. I'd like to see that to be for real, come to fruition. But there's a lot of forces behind the scenes that are moving people in a very strange direction. And here's a little bit on the article here. Judge orders Nuremberg public hearing on November 9th for illegality of the somethings. Anyways, last night on September 13th, the Apollo judge ordered a date for an oral hearing on an appeal to stop the injections. All it took was a few months to get it to the right appellate court. After I got lost in a Costa Rica system, the appeal is to stop this stuff from being. We'll see. This would be a big shot to the establishment of what's going on, but here recently, you know, it comes to like trying to figure out what's going on and trying to move people in the right direction. Memes have been a great way to get past a lot of really interesting articles that, you know, because people's attention span nowadays are really, really It's shortened a lot. And that's all due to the fact of the algorithms that they see now, because everything is just so instantaneous. And if you made it this far through the video, kudos to you guys. You get an A+ and a star and a hug me heart and all that there and all. And plus, I'll even give you free chocolate ice cream. And I'm not Joe Biden. You know, in school you had the little wooden spoons. I remember in school we had the little chocolate tubs of ice cream, and it had all that. There's no telling what was in the ice cream. And the fluoride, they'd come in there and give you fluoride. These people would come in there and wipe fluoride all in your teeth and leave it in there for 5 to 10 minutes to make sure they had terrible test scores. But anyways, pro-Trump influencer Doug Mackey is now headed to a federal prison to serve a 7-month sentence after being convicted by a federal jury in March. Prosecutors asked for Mackey, who was arrested in 2021, to serve between 6 months and a year behind bars. Now, okay, all right. Now, there's been memes that were made exactly the same by other people on the opposing side with just about word for word, what I would say word for word, what does on this meme. But of course, nothing goes that direction because it's all according to who's in power as far as the justice system. And if it's the Republicans in power, they just don't do anything at all. And so everybody just does whatever, which, I mean, I don't want anybody arrested or locked up for making a meme because it's freedom of speech, no matter what set. And nobody actually did any physical harm if it's just a meme. Nobody's actually went out there and physically done anything. And the thing is that means that, but here's the deal. I would love for, if you're going to apply it one direction, let's just get them all. And you saw a little bit of that on the recent thing that was probably an insurrection with the Rashida Tlaib and all. But the thing about those people are, I had calls come in from other content creators that were upset about what was happening there, and I totally understand that. That's definitely something I totally understand. They said it's just like January 6th, and I was like, well, a lot in the same, but the fact of the matter is like it's not the same, and it's not because it's not the same. Please don't click out, unsubscribe. Listen, hear me out. January 6th, the people had a very legitimate cause to be up there, and according to these people here, which I'm going to show you a little something about the people that were there, allegedly they had a legitimate cause to be up there. But when you find out who was really there, you're going to be like, ooh, I see what the deal is. And I'm going to show you a video right quick. It's 1 minute and 29 seconds, and it lays out the whole plan of both sides that are actually doing this stuff when it comes to all. I'm not standing up for either side. I'm standing up for America. And you're going to see why here in just a second. This is why we need to leave that stuff alone, get out of their narrative. I'm going to show you in a second. But this is very interesting right here. Check this out. So what happened is on January 6th, there was some property damage that occurred. And there could have been bad actors that were on the Trump side of people. But however, there seems to be mounting evidence of alleged, and I'm saying this because we're just trying to keep safe on some of the platforms that we run, because we're trying to get a message out, and we're doing a really good job right now. So we're just lean into this with me, guys. Now, when it happened on January 6th, there was a possible provocateurs, allegedly. I don't know. There's a lot of things coming out about that may move us in that direction, especially with video that was brought out by Tucker Carlson about the shaman. But however, that narrative hasn't been able to be brought to light because of a two-tier justice system. Just lean into this, guys. I'm on your side. We know what happened, but we've got to kind of work our way in this direction. Now, what happened at the rotunda this time, which wasn't the Capitol rotunda, which is different, but there was a stop of a very important congressional and effect on a very congressional process taking place with the vote of Jim Jordan. Same thing when it came to some other stuff when the man actually pulled a fire alarm. But no property damage and no provocateurs that hyped the situation up, and plus they didn't have a media that pumped the negative narrative and then worked a crowd for 4+ years against a man that there were actually grievances about. See, that was the whole difference. And so, yes, I think that it was wrong what those people did, but the thing is they were kind of standing up what they believe in until you see this video right here. This right here is from Real America's Voice, and I want to show you something real quick. Now, please just bear with me for a second. I'm totally for America. I'm totally for staying out of all this stuff, and I'm going to show you why in just a second.
We have the organizers right there. The pro-Hamas organizers right there. So are you guys with the Global Antifada? You guys Global Antifada?
No, we're with Jewish Voices for Peace.
Oh, we saw the Global Antifada messages going around. You guys aren't Global Antifada?
Jewish Voices for Peace.
Jewish, yeah. So what do you think? So you're against Hamas? You denounce Hamas terrorists?
I'm sorry, I'm actually not.
But can you denounce Hamas terrorists? Would you denounce Hamas?
We're actually on our way to the bathroom.
Well, if you're Jewish, would you denounce Hamas
That guy
terrorists?
sounds gay.
That's not surprising to me. He said he's actually not Jewish. Not surprising.
So apparently, if you look into what some of the people behind the scenes are, you can actually go and look into these two guys right here. These are of those little breakaway organizations that are not well organized and or any kind of organization that's a threat. Yeah, those guys. Now, this video right here will help tie everything together, and this is actually read from an actual article written by the man who had the plan. Here we go.
Predicted 3 world wars. The First World War, he said, must be brought about, and I'm quoting from Albert Pike. The First World War must be brought about in order to permit the Illuminati to overthrow the power of the czars in Russia and of making that country a fortress of atheistic communism. The divergences caused by the agents of the Illuminati between the British and German empires will be used to foment this war. He says, quote, the Second World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between the fascists and the political Zionists. This war must be brought about so that Nazism is destroyed and that the political Zionism will be strong enough to institute a sovereign state of Israel in Palestine. He's now thinking about this Third World War, and it says that it will be caused by the differences between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the State of Israel, mutually destroy each other. That's what it says. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economic exhaustion.
Wow. Is anybody see anything like that happening right now? Is that something maybe possible that could be taking place as we speak because of the way that you've got that resting bitch face, dumb fuck ass, sorry, here comes the damn shitty language, Rashida Tlaib, and by the way, that wasn't just her that organized a whole squad of people who done that. And by the way, this chick here that's having these threats and all that stuff afterwards could very well be just victim of like, this is the whole thing that the CIA does whenever, or FBI, who's ever doing it, they like to put in bots and different things in social media accounts, and they call people and pretend like they're somebody else. So a lot of that stuff doesn't come from us. Nobody's threatening her. I mean, she may have got a few nutties that do stuff, but that's a give-in. But for the most part, when you think about it, like especially when it came to what happened to Alex Jones and the parents that had something that happened to them, I'm not going to name a whole lot about what happened there. But to be honest with you, I really think that what happened to Alex Jones was orchestrated by a team of people who put these people up to harassing those parents to create a situation so that they could do a default judgment, which is something that they're doing to Donald Trump right now, or attempting to do. And we'll see how this goes. But when I look back on that whole thing, because if you really were to look into what happened with Alex Jones got sued over, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, I can't name it because YouTube will put the smack down on this whole channel real quick, like if I do something like that. But Alex Jones talks about a lot of things, but the one I'm talking about with the parents and the being sued and all that, if you just look into that, you'll see what I'm talking about. Default judgment, never actually got to have a jury trial. Nobody heard both sides of it. Nobody got to actually interview the parents or witness the parents to say who, whatever. Nobody got the people who did the harassing to see who these people were. The actual legitimate investigation to see who did something criminal to make a payment of that much of a civil lawsuit never took place. They just said, looks like you're just guilty by default. And they just said how much you're going to owe in the hearings, and that's it. Oh, Joe Biden, by the way, has nut sacks. What's up with that, man? You see that right there? Look at this. What is up with that? Look at this. Okay, now, is anybody not weirded out by Anthony Blinken in the back? You see this right here? Is Anthony Blinken working the remote control from behind, up his behind? Did he, you know what I'm talking about? Is he plugged into him? But do you see that right there? And people say that's an actor, that's a face mask, and I don't know. I just think that maybe that's a good possibility whenever the sauce starts to wear off. You know, there's like, you know, when they give him the when he's going there and gets his infusions, you know what I'm talking about? Just made it on his way back from this one big event. He had to stop in at his Delaware home for like an hour and a half real quick to do a little sniffy sniff. But Anthony Blinken in the back is what's really weird. He's just keeping his eye on the dude. He's not making any. He doesn't want to be. It's like he doesn't want to be fully. I don't think he even thinks he could be seen on camera. I think he thinks that right now he's just off a site where he's not being seen.
Virtually every.
That's just weird. You tell me in the comment section what that is, because I don't know, guys. But look at that. The memes are so good already. And where are we at here? There is a lot going on in the back. But what we got to do, we're going to have to probably slide it to the side, guys. Got a lot of other stuff to get out. By the way, that's Tommy Lee, and just a little bit of rock and roll history. At one point in time, Kid Rock was banging Pamela Lee Anderson at the time, and got, you know, that was his old lady and everything, and so she kind of split up, went with Kid Rock. In case you probably remember that, Kid Rock where is Pamela Lee anyhow? Nobody's seen anything out of her. Nobody's. That's weird. I'm going to look into that. But anyways. Grew up watching Baywatch. Boing. Anyways, Pamela Lee messed around with Kid Rock. Kid Rock and Tommy Lee always plays this real tough guy, like he's going to mess somebody up, and he's just tough dude, don't mess with him. They met up, they were seen at a restaurant together, and Tommy Lee said something to Kid Rock. Kid Rock smacks the shit out of him, and then Tommy Lee just holds his face and goes, "Why'd you hit me for?" and runs away. I kid you not. So kudos to Kid Rock. And, I hope that video about what's going on with that whole 3-war thing, you know, hits home. And one other thing, we'll get out of here. I'm going to leave us on this weird mess right here, and y'all have a good afternoon. But check this out. This here is a plane that's releasing mosquitoes. And this is over the waters of Ohio. They strategically have released these mosquitoes over, you know, areas where there's moisture so that they can thrive. A little cold for them right now, but they're allegedly genetically modified mosquitoes, which means they might not respond to the cold the same that a normal mosquito does. I don't know, but watch this. I don't know. I can't confirm that to be exactly what that is, but we do know we've seen them release them over California, over Florida, and other places like that. And so Bill Gates has decided that he's going to kind of like walk back his climate agenda thing, because he thinks that it's a possibility that it's pushing too hard on the people. And I think that there's a reason for that. It has nothing to do with the fact that he's trying to, you know, scale back his operation and realize people aren't accepting it. I think that it's because they're just moving in a different direction, and he's going to claim that he's fallen back so that hopefully we kind of ease back as well, because there's still going to be a climate agenda, but it's just not going to be talked about as much. They're just going to just kind of quietly keep moving it in little by little without saying anything, because they realize announcing it right now is really putting a cramp in their style. I don't know if that's because of the Speaker of the House situation. You'd be surprised just how intricate these little towels are all woven together. Woven. I made that word up, and I don't care. You think about that, though. Think about all the different things that could be happening behind the scenes that are making these people step on rakes. But like I say, it doesn't mean he's going to stop. It just means that you're going to move in a different direction and double down on that. And so we've got to really keep our eye on these people. We've got to really keep understanding the fact that this is all organized for one main reason, because it has to do with totalitarian global organization and you being a complete and total slave to the system so they can harvest you for your energy, guys. So thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of the week ahead, guys, and I appreciate all the wonderful support, and you have a good one. I am out.